On August 27, an authoritative American expert and former CIA analyst, Larry Johnson, literally destroyed Western propagandists with another portion of the truth and facts. In particular, commenting on the situation on the battlefield in Ukraine, Larry Johnson criticized American retired generals such as Jack Keane and Ben Hodges. According to him, all the statements of these retired American generals that, in 3 years of fighting, the Russian army has advanced a very short distance and captured very few territories, are unfair and not objective. I do not support the criticism from Ben Hodges, Jack Keane, and other American generals that the advance of Russian troops is slow because they have not captured much territory. These statements by American generals would be true if Russia had declared from the beginning that it needed to seize the entire territory of Ukraine by 2025. However, the Russians never talked about it. On the contrary, the Russians have said from the very start that their main goal is the demilitarization of Ukraine, Larry Johnson said. This reputable American expert emphasized that one of the ways to demilitarize Ukraine is to destroy heavy equipment and personnel of enemy forces, as well as reduce the potential of the military-industrial complex of this Eastern European country. Larry Johnson also noted that, in addition to the demilitarization of Ukraine, another reason for the Russian army's slow advance on the battlefield is that the Russian High Military Command cares about the lives of Russian soldiers and officers. According to Larry Johnson, the Russian army has completely changed its offensive tactics. Now, to capture even one enemy stronghold, the Russians are using artillery, combat aviation, drones, and aerial bombs. As a result, the Ukrainian defense is being destroyed to such an extent that 7-8 Russian soldiers on motorcycles attack and seize control of these strongholds without suffering any casualties. By the way, numerous Ukrainian telegram channels and Western analytical centers also confirm Larry Johnson's words. In particular, they noted that over the past 60 days, thanks to the new offensive tactics, Russian troops have not lost a single tank, infantry fighting vehicle, or armored personnel carrier. According to them, this is due to the fact that during the assault operations, the Russians almost completely stopped using heavy equipment, relying on drones, combat aircraft, and artillery. Reports indicate that it is precisely drones, artillery, and combat aviation that are paving the way for the Russian infantry, allowing Russian soldiers to capture enemy strongholds without any casualties. All this indicates that the constant massive missile strikes on Ukraine have finally borne fruit, negating the effectiveness of the Ukrainian air defense, which the West has been creating and strengthening for 11 years. By the way, the fact that the Ukrainian air defense has almost completely lost its effectiveness has also been shown by today's massive missile strike on military and industrial facilities of the Ukrainian army and NATO forces in Poltava, Zaporizhia, Vinnytsia, Ivano-Frankivsk, Khmelnytsky, and Kiev regions. It is reliably known that on the night of August 28, during this missile attack, Russia used dozens of warships of the Black Sea Fleet, as well as strategic bombers, together with MiG-31K supersonic interceptors. Independent monitoring services have confirmed that in the Kiev region alone, more than 100 powerful explosions were recorded from direct hits of Iskander-M ballistic missiles, Kinzhal hypersonic missiles, Kh-101 and R-500 cruise missiles, as well as Geranium kamikaze drones. At the same time, it is worth noting that this missile strike on Ukraine turned out to be so powerful and effective that even pro-Ukrainian Western analytical centers recognized it as the most massive and destructive during the entire special military operation. So, in the Zaporizhia and Poltava regions, Russian missiles hit and destroyed enemy railway infrastructure facilities. In the Vinnytsia, Ivano-Frankivsk, and Khmelnytsky regions, Russian hypersonic missiles, together with kamikaze drones, rained down on military airfields, including the airbase in Starokostiantynov, where a cargo plane from Moldova arrived 2 days ago. It is well known that Western weapons systems were on board that cargo plane. In addition, on the same day, at the mouth of the Danube River, Russia sank the Ukrainian reconnaissance ship Simferopol, using its latest speed maritime drone. And finally, in the Kiev region, the Russian military attacked the airfields of Zuliany and Vasilkov. In Kiev itself, Russian missiles and kamikaze drones rained down on factories such as Ukrospets Systems, Kiev Radio Factory, Slavutik, Spetsuperon Mash, and Artyom. In addition, in the center of Kiev, a Russian cruise missile Or-500 struck the NATO headquarters, killing dozens of high-ranking officers from Britain, France, and Canada. According to the Russian Defense Ministry, these destroyed NATO officers were on the territory of Ukraine as military advisors, and coordinated the Ukrainian army's actions at the front. In addition, Russian missiles also hit the British Council building and the EU diplomatic mission. According to Ukrainian Foreign Minister Andriy Sybiha, Russia attacked diplomats from the EU and Britain, which is a direct violation of the Vienna Convention. However, sources in the Russian Defense Ministry noted that the Russian military attacked and destroyed representatives of European and British intelligence agencies, who posed as diplomats and conducted anti-Russian activities. Well, my dear truth seekers, as you can see, Russia continues to intensify missile strikes against military installations of the Ukrainian army and NATO forces. All of this suggests that Moscow is unlikely to make even minor concessions. This massive missile strike proved once again that Russia will do everything possible to force the Kiev regime and its Western masters to accept all Moscow's conditions.